Welcome to the Apps Associates AI Agent webinar for Oracle Fusion applications. Um, we're excited to have everybody here today to talk to you guys about AI agents and the AI Fusion Studio. My name is Gary Marinas. I'm a practice director and an AI pioneer with Apps Associates. A little swag here for that. And I have with me today Ron Pereira and Jay Pradhan. Ron is a senior director of product strategy at Oracle in the AI space. And Jay here is also a senior director in our advisory practice here at Apps Associates. So thank you for joining us today. And I'm going to let Ron kick it off with a couple of slides here in a second. But first, what we'll be going through is kind of an overview of what agentic AI is and how Oracle's AI Agent Studio impacts that. What are some of the tools and templates that we have access to in Oracle? We'll go through a demo of some agents and what the studio looks like. And we'll talk about some best practices, tips, how to evaluate a great use case, what's coming, in 25D and 26A. There are a few options outside of Oracle Fusion. We'll talk about some of those briefly around OCI and whatnot. And then if we have time, hopefully we can have some quick questions and some open discussion about the studio. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ron. And
Great. Oops, sorry. Did I cut you off, Gary?
nope, you're good.
Good. All right, great. Thanks for having me, Apps Associates, and thank everyone for coming. I appreciate it quite a bit. Thanks for being customers of Oracle. Without you, we aren't who we are. So I really appreciate it. So I'll crank through this because I think Gary and team have some amazing content to present. But I just wanted to kind of give some context on where we are from the Oracle perspective. I'm fairly new at Oracle. I count my tenure in months still, not quite years, or in some cases decades for a lot of the people that I work with here at Oracle. One of the things that really attracted me to this role and to this group was the pace of innovation. If you just look back, what the pace that we've been working on here in the AI space, and particularly at Oracle, has been amazing. This year we're really starting to see this move at the tail end of it from going from pilots to production. I think the Apps Associates team has been critical in driving a lot of that type of adoption and engagement. But with that solid foundation, as we've gone into sort of this next wave of AI, we're looking at next year for being really the year for operationalizing AI, for really figuring out how to put it in place and take advantage of it at scale versus just a lot of 2025, even back half of 2024 was a lot of pilots that really didn't go anywhere. And now that we see and we'll talk a bit about what's in place now, we're really expecting this year to be a really sort of a little kick in that little hockey stick to really seeing a lot of operationalization of AI. And the reason, if you want to go to the next slide, is because, I'll say it, Oracle Fusion Apps AI has really kind of put pillars in place that allow for enterprises, mid-sized companies, companies of all sizes really, to take advantage of AI at scale. So we focused in on the fact that, of course, as the Fusion Apps portfolio has that complete range of products, we have all the connected systems. We've also made a lot of effort in making sure that we have, the context from outside of Oracle. I think Gary will highlight some of the things we're doing around A2A and MCP, as well as just cloud REST APIs. Our core infrastructure, of course, is second to none. Just the ongoing innovation of what we have within OCI. And the fact that Fusion Apps is built on top of that allows for us to move at scale very, very rapidly with our SaaS style approach, but obviously taking the underpinnings of the core OCI framework or platform. Of course, you'll see, I think Gary will highlight, we know that to get approval and to get investment from our customers, we need to be transparent, reliable. Also, we need to provide that level of measurability. That the ROI is the biggest question one of the main questions we get from our customers and from our partners frequently is like, where is the ROI? So you'll see that we're rolling out this concept called Metro, to really provide a lot of measurability, traceability, observability, all built in right into the platform. And I think finally, probably the most important part is just protection and governance. I will say, this is the number one question that we get from most of our customers is around our theme. This theme is really around protection and governance. How do I know the agents, can be as trustworthy? How do I know it's complying with what it's supposed to do? Is it doing it on behalf of me, or is it doing it independently? All of those things are built right into the platform. And those four pillars really kind of allow for us to be at the forefront of operationalizing AI in 2026. The next slide really is the next point of what we think is really kind of the sort of another catalyst for us to be in this position to operationalize AI is the introduction of Agent Studio, in the first half of this year. I'm not going to go through all the little blocks here. I'll highlight, sort of the key things that I think really are important. Going back to those questions that we get often about what people can expect and what's important is that this phase of AI, we've put a lot of investment in the sort of the second row, far right, humans in the loop. A lot of the agentic work that we're all doing still largely revolves around refining business processes as they exist today. We are not completely extracting humans from the work that's being done. I think that's a critical component to a lot of the questions we get. That's sort of critical. Like, people are there for oversight, for refinement. It's making a lot of people's jobs easier. It's not like doing the whole job. Like, that's a critical component. And of course, I highlighted again that security and trust is also critical within that context of a human in the loop. And on the other side, I said role-based access controls is critical. Is a fundamental understanding is that, like, the agent's doing work on behalf of a person, not independently. So the agents often inherit the permissions of a person. They don't have free reign to all the underlying data, business objects, and all of that. So that's another critical component. And I just want to highlight, like, I know there's a lot of noise and stuff out there. As someone in the space, I spend way too much time watching AI related videos on my YouTube feed. It's become sort of a running joke with my kids. They come home and I'm sitting there like on my laptop watching YouTube on the big screen, and they're like, "What are you doing?" But there's a lot out there. It's easy to think that this is all sort of doable on your own. Having AI built into your platform and not bolted on is really sort of another element that really drove my interest in joining Fusion. You're in Fusion every day. You use it. You have a lot of your business processes built into it. Take advantage of it, because going and doing this on your own or trying to piece this together on your own it's overwhelming. And ultimately, it's kind of like the difference between buying SaaS and building your own software. It's really kind of the same fundamental premise, and we all know that's worked out for everyone to be on the SaaS platforms going forward. And to really take advantage of that, what you can see with Infusion is over 400 AI assistants and agents. And the next slide, are built in. So there's so much to take advantage of in terms of already built-in capabilities, already pre-built agents, and of course the pre-built agent templates that we'll talk about here. So just, that's a plug for just and the other component, of course, we're here at Apps Associates. This is the part that's the most exciting for me. This is where I spend most of my time. Is our amazing ecosystem. It's of course, the LLMs. You have a tremendous freedom of choice with Infusion Studio, Agent Studio, and AI to use platform the LLM of your choice. We take advantage of the open standards around MCP, A to A. We're of course leveraging REST APIs. I'm going to put you on the spot here, Gary or Jay. How many certified experts do you have now on staff at Apps Associates? Do you
Yeah, I mean, I think we have over 275
200? Yeah. See,
total
so like,
across the studio and across OCI AI agents. So pretty high
yeah.
there.
So like the ecosystem's robust. Like, Apps Associates has done the work to demonstrate that they are experts, and probably no more so than their work that they've done on the agent marketplace. Like, we're super excited about it. It's really sort of a new form of delivering value within Diffusion applications. We can go to the next slide and I'll kind of introduce it real quick. And this is, for me, this is like the super exciting part. that Apps Associates has been one of the pioneers. I think, they have that pioneer phrasing that they use. They really are one of our true pioneers. This is the first webinar that I've been on to talk about agent marketplaces. They're always first, it seems, doing everything kind of at the cutting edge. So we're super excited to be partnered up with them on these agents templates that are in Agent Fusion Agent Studio. They're right in the apps. Any customer can get them. You can get the customers get the adoption insights to support the ongoing efforts. The key things here, a couple things is Oracle supports the agents like their Oracle delivered agents for runtime, for technical issues such as integration, tools, and debugging. So Apps Associates has built these agent templates and put them in Fusion Apps. At that point, Oracle will support them. Of course, there might be a point which we would have to call apps and debug something, but generally, the reason why we're so confident doing that is that this agent templates that Apps Associates has delivered have been certified by our own dev team. They went through a rigorous process to make sure they meet our standards. I would say we probably put them through have a little bit even higher standard than we even do our own templates because they're coming from a third party. So super excited about the work that Apps Associates has done here. Quick slide on the next one just to highlight. I'm going a little long here. 21 point validation that we did to make sure that the agent templates that are in our Fusion Apps Agent Studio are up to the level. I know that Apps Associates wouldn't put anything in their name on anything that isn't even above these standards. So we're super excited about the work that they've done and the work that you'll see right in Apps in Agent Studio that they'll be showing you today. And again, thank you for coming and thanks Apps for all the hard work you've done.
Man, Ron, we really appreciate that kickoff. Thank you so much. So I think to keep this going, we have a poll that we wanted to ask the team out here. What AI capabilities have you used in Oracle Fusion applications? So I think that the team is about to enable a poll for you guys. And if you wouldn't mind just quickly uh, answering that question, have you used any AI capabilities in Fusion applications? That kind of helps us to understand what you're doing and take an idea of where to go with the rest of the presentation. So, all right. So, what AI capabilities have you used in Oracle Fusion applications? So you can have a single choice here, real quick: generative, predictive, agentic, all, none. Um, so pick one of those and
All right, we're going to give it 30 seconds. All right, we're going to go ahead and end the poll.
all right. All right. So you're going to show the results. There we go. All right. So over half of you, 62%, haven't used any of the AI agents. A few of you have used generative, predictive, and agentic. So that's great. Small percentage also great. So this presentation is going to cover, all of the various capabilities we have. So this is a good mix. Um, we'll go a little bit like this is everybody's first time, given the number of folks that haven't done it. So we're going to keep going here. Okay, so what I want to start out with is, what are the three types of AI capabilities in Fusion applications, right? What is AI on the Fusion side? And we talk about that, we have to look at it three ways. There's generative, predictive, and agentic. And generative AI generally comes out of the box, doesn't require any configuration or programming, and it is creating things on your behalf. Highlights of a purchase order, helping you to define an item description, summarizing a sourcing abstract. So those are things that Oracle is delivering out of the box. You don't really have to set it up. Doesn't require any work. It just shows up on the screen on your behalf, and you can choose to use it or pass on it in some cases. Predictive, some of them also come out of the box, really doesn't require a lot of programming or configuration, so to speak. This one will use historical data, statistics, algorithms, and one example of that is like predictive cash forecasting. I'll show you a couple of examples of that in a minute. And then lastly, the thing that we're most focused on at the moment is agentic AI, where it's built inside of Oracle's AI Agent Studio. Requires configuration and a small amount of coding, but it's English language coding, so to speak. So you're writing prompts, right? And these things are workflow-based processes that automate things for you. Think about a benefits policy chat advisor. Think about an item org copy agent or an agent that is doing some work on your behalf that would otherwise, take several steps. So when we're talking about generative AI, like I said, we're talking about things that will generate highlights. So when I'm reviewing a purchase order or a requisition, I can get this, high level overview. Hey, this has batteries, medical grade gloves on it. Not necessarily a justification, but more of a what is it? Predictive AI, we're talking about the predictive cash forecasting capabilities and EPM. These are things that are typically, you opt into them. You kind of do a touch of setup, but not a lot of fanfare. And then out of the box, you can start getting these great, dashboards and KPIs that help you with your predictive, cash forecasting. Agentic, on the other hand, so we have AI agents that will retrieve policy information for you, take action on your behalf. They're integrated into the UI just like the other two versions. And these agents do require setup in the application. And there are some templated ones that are delivered in the marketplace, and then you can also build your own. So there's a lot of things you can do here. Understand goals, plan, use human oversight to make sure you're not taking actions you shouldn't be, human in the loop. So when I'm talking about this agentic AI and the Oracle AI Agent Studio, how does it fit into our world? So the studio is our platform to actually use and build these agents, right? So we use that to enable these workflows and these, we'll call them chatbots. They're built directly into Fusion, right? So I love it. Oracle says it's built in, not bolted on. So you're actually performing all of your tasks from within the application. You don't have to go to a different place. It follows the same role and data access rules as Fusion. Ron alluded to this earlier. It follows all of the same security models that you have. It connects with our LLMs, our large language models. The first ones you see are ChatGPT 5.0 Mini and Llama. Cohere is internally used as generative services. And then, as we continue to progress along our timeline there, you'll be able to bring your own LLMs in and use those. In this case, we talked about programming, but it's really English language prompts. So prompting becomes super important when you're building agents. We can call APIs internally or externally to perform inserts, updates, and delete operations in SaaS, right? And then, what it isn't bolted on. It isn't a sidecar. It's directly integrated. It's not really a programming platform like Apex or Visual Builder. You're not really generating code like Copilot or Cursor. And it's not really a reporting tool, right? Like sometimes we just jump in, we say, hey, I want an agent that gives me this big report. We really want it to take action for you. Okay. So what's the definition of the agent? It's built with the Oracle AI Agent Studio. It lives within Fusion and the OCI ecosystem. They could be autonomous process bots that are written in the English language rather than taking code and writing Java, Python, or entering 8,000 questions and 8,000 answers for them to respond to. They can be triggered via your user interface, interactive chat, or ESS, which is coming along here. So they kick off workflows that have LLM-driven autonomy to repeat, skip, change the order of the steps it takes. So you might have an agent that can do 5 things for you. You might ask it in order or out of order, and it uses LLMs to understand when the best time to do that is and what the answer should be based on the information that's in your system. So we have hooks to act upon things in the database. If you want to access external systems. You can use external APIs. You can use internal APIs to take those actions, right? So why does an agent beat a traditional workflow? Like we used to have these workflows that you coded them, they did exactly what you wanted, but they had no persona, so to say. So if you think about your org chart, I'm putting an agent into my org chart to take some action that or some piece of work and take those steps out of the daily process, the daily grind. So something that might have taken 2 hours or 20 steps to do, you really want this agent to have a goal and to take action and intent on your behalf. It doesn't require programming, right? So traditional workflows, you have packages and SQL and coding and developers. It generally has autonomy to chart its own path. What are the intermediate steps? It can talk to other agents if needed. So we can have supervisor agents, telling many other agents what to do and when to do it. And theoretically, it can go above and beyond what is explicitly said in the prompt. So the prompt is a guideline, right? Guardrails. Whereas traditional workflows, programming lacks autonomy, can't really call or talk to other workflows, does what it's told, and doesn't care about like the general goal, so to speak. Okay. So Oracle AI Agent Studio does a couple of things. One, it comes with pre-built templates. In fact, in 25D, which we're an early adopter of because we're partnering with Oracle, there are actually 122 pre-built templates that ship with the Agent Studio out of the box. These are the standard templates that Oracle's delivering. They've built them. 26A will continue to expand in additional pillars such as ERP and finance. So we haven't seen a lot in that space yet, but it's coming. And then it can secondarily and probably actually primarily be used to build custom agent teams and agents. So I've talked a lot about agents and we talked about generative, predictive, and agentic AI, and we're talking about agentic AI and the types of agents that you can build. You can build agents to do several things. You can build them to answer questions for you. So I want to understand my HR benefits without logging into HR, going to the shared drive and downloading a document. I can put a 100-page policy document on the system, ask a single question, and it will vectorize that and get information quickly for you. I can create agents that author things, draft content for me, uh, you know, create work instructions on my behalf, insert records. And then we have ones that take action, right? So we can automate and orchestrate different business activities. Let's say I'm creating AP holds or copying item structure or generating purchase orders, and I need a faster way to do it. I'm the guy that creates all the items in the item master, and I spend time putting a trading partner associated to it. Can I just use that information to automatically go generate a line in a BPA and get that enabled for purchasing? Those are the kind of things that will reduce the steps and take action on your behalf, and it will create efficiency and streamline your time. So at this point, I'm gonna pass this over to our friend Jay, and he's going to go through and take a look at. We're gonna do some demos. He's gonna go over the AI Agent Studio, take a quick tour of an AI agent, its components, and then he'll actually do some demonstrations. So we'd like to spend a bit of time here. So I'm gonna stop sharing and pass this over to Jay.
Thank you, Gary. Can you hear me and see my agent screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Let me know if you stop seeing the screen for any reason. So thank you everyone for joining this morning. I'm going to walk through one of the agents that we've built internally within Apps Associates. This is an agent that you're seeing on the screen that I just ran a few minutes ago. I'm going to X out and run the agent from scratch. I'll also do a quick tour of the Agent Studio. So let's X out of here first. So Agent Studio, as Gary mentioned, if I go from the start, let me just go home and start from the beginning. In 25C and beyond, you should have access to the Agent Studio. And if you don't, it's probably because you don't have the right roles assigned or given to the users. So you should see an icon called AI Agent Studio inside Tools. If you don't, check your roles. There is a separate PowerPoint from Oracle on how to set up roles to see the studio and to author agents. Once you get into the studio, as Gary mentioned, you'll come to the homepage where you'll see a lot of agents pre-built and shipped by Oracle. And they are templates, but they can also be used as is, or they can be used as a starting point, like a save as type function, and you can build your own agent out of the template. So there is a lot of pre-built templates that are available from Oracle. So that's number one. Number two, you have a marketplace where you have apps associates and similar partners who've built agents. So there should be an agent here from Apps Associates, which does an employee cash advance analysis. This is something we've built internally and we've provided to Oracle on the marketplace for you to download and use. If none of these agents meet your needs, you can create your own agents and agent teams. Basically, an agent team is a wrapper around an agent or a group of agents. So agent team, as the name might imply, is not a group of agents, it's just a wrapper. So that's what you talk to agents through. You always need an agent team to talk to an agent. So if you build an agent, you also have to build an agent team, even if it's just one agent. There's many agents here that we've played around with. We have a pioneer team of about 15 people within Apps Associates who've built a lot of these. Tools are basically things that turn agent into a productive product. Basically, without tools, an agent is just very similar to ChatGPT. It will talk to you, it will answer questions, and it will not be able to actually make a difference in your Fusion applications. Tools are what allow you to do that. So if you go and try to create a tool, basically, there's several tools that are out of the box, but there's 5 main tool types. Business object is the most commonly used one. It points to a specific table or an object in Fusion applications. So if you want to create a PO through an agent, or you want to create a bunch of transactions after first transaction takes place, then that's a business object. Deep links are going to invoke a UI. A document tool type is going to basically let you upload a giant PDF and then build a chatbot around that PDF. So you can ask questions about the PDF without having to read a 1,000-page PDF, or you can ask the agent to summarize that document for you. Email tool will send out emails, and external REST is if you want your agent inside Fusion applications to go out to an external system like a legacy system, or if you have a third-party system like ServiceNow or Salesforce or some other ERP, then you can use external REST to bring data out of that system or to write to that system if they have REST APIs. Then we have topics, which are basically reusable prompts. I'll go through that when I demo. Deep links and business objects we already talked about. Now, credentials is where you can build connections to outside LLMs. So within Oracle, you do have access to a couple of them. One is GPT-5 Mini. We've built all our agents using GPT-5 Mini. You can also build agents using Llama. Llama sits inside Oracle's 4 walls. GPT-5 is an external call, so if there is a concern around that, and we'll talk about security also in a few minutes. But if you have already built a deal with Google or some other AI LLM provider, you can choose one of the Google LLMs, Gemini 2.5 or Flash, and then create a credential to connect. So that way you will be paying Google directly for the APIs that you use for the LLM usage. So let me go into the agent that I've built and I'll do a quick demo. And before I do that, I want to tell you what this agent does. So the name of the agent is Item Structure Copying Agent. What this does is, if you've ever copied item numbers from one item to another, what happens is you can copy an item, you can copy all the attributes, you can even copy the org assignments. So if an item number is in master org plus 5 other inventory orgs, you can copy those associations too. So the new item will also be associated to the 5 inventory organizations. What Oracle doesn't do out of the box is, if there is a BOM or an item structure in the master item, then when the items are copied, it will not copy the item structure to the org items. So if the original item has item structure in every organization, the new item that you created out of a copy would not have the item structure in the child organizations. It will only be in the parent. So if you see here in this item number, I have an item structure here in the master org, but if I go to the child org, I don't have an item structure. And this is a copied item. So the item copy has a bit of a gap. This is an actual gap that we discovered in one of the projects with a client. So we decided to build an agent for them. And I'll show you the agent now. So if I go here, this is the agent that will help you do that. And I'm going to go in the admin mode, so you'll see some additional information. In this case, the agent team has, this is the agent team right here. And this is one agent which is equipped with 5 tools. So if you go here and look, I have to equip my agent with these tools to get anything done. So there is a tool to get internal IDs and item structure details. And then finally, there is also a tool to actually create an item structure. All these tools are governed by the prompt. So if you go to the agent itself inside this agent team, the prompt is what is the programming logic. So if I go here and see the details, this is the personality or the summarized agent persona. Then there are prompts on what to do, how to call tools, what each tool does. If you notice here, everything is written in an essay form in plain English. So there is no programming required. The only bare minimum technical know-how that's required here is in these tools. And the tools are basically REST API calls. So if you are comfortable, or if you have some basic familiarity with REST APIs, if you've used Postman or something like that before, you should be able to do this. So going back to the agent team, if I click here and launch this, this is, now I'm starting the demo. Basically, I'm going to trigger the pre-populated prompt. The agent will ask me, how can I help you? And I'm going to ask a pre-populated question saying, I want to copy item structure from one organization to another organization. What the agent is going to do is it's going to take this prompt and it is going to bounce this against the system prompt that I've defined, that 4-page instruction, and going to tell me what it can and cannot do. So the agent is going to help me understand its limits and its capabilities. It's going to tell me it can copy an item structure. These are the 3 pieces of information it requires. And there are some optional things that I can provide if I have that information. What will it check? So it's going to check if the destination organization has that item number or not, if the source has the item structure to copy in the first place, and the components of the item structure, do they exist in the destination organization? All of those checks and balances are carried out by those tool calls that I showed you. And then if all the checks and balances are met, it will actually copy the item structure. So I'm going to say, okay, I understand all this. I'm going to copy this prompt. And again, I'm just trying to save time by not typing it, but you can type and make it an interactive experience with the agent. So 5169 is our item number that we want to copy from master org to the child org. So the system is now going through the motions. While it's running, let me show you a couple of other things. So starting in 25D, if you've not seen this before, you will see that the system also calculates tokens. The screen is jumping around because it's working, but it will tell you the tokens it consumed, the tools it called, and also the latency in terms of how many seconds it took. So if you hear, once I told the system to go take this item, find its item structure, copy that item structure from master org to the child org, the system has made multiple large language model calls. It has called all these tools, meaning to find the internal ID of the item number, then the internal ID of the organization, find out the item structure, find out the item structure's components, check if those items exist. It checked all of those, and when it found that all the criteria are met, it finally called this tool, which is basically behind the scenes an API, to create the item structure. So once it's done, it's going to give me a summary of what it did, that these are the results and the details. This is the item number that you wanted to copy. This is the item structure that it copied. These are the components in the item structure. And it's presenting this to me in a bullet list form. You can also make this presented to you in HTML table if you want it to look prettier. So here's where the real productivity gain comes from. Copying item structure from one org to other org involves multiple clicks. But with this agent, if I want, I can continue down and say, okay, copy the same structure to org A, org B, org C, and I can copy it to multiple organizations within the agent. So if we go now and look at our item and requery items, there was no item structure, but if I requery this, I'm just going to go and cancel this here and query the item number again just to get a refresh. So in the meantime, Zena, do we have any questions in the chat window?
No, we do not have any.
Okay, so let's search again. And now we are back in this item number in the Spring organization. And if you see here, within this organization, we now have an item structure that just got created through the agent tools and the agent execution. So that's a quick demo of the agent. One of the other things that is also provided by Oracle is if I want to take this interaction and I want to create a test script out of it, like an automated test script, I can go and say add it to an evaluation set, and the system will take this interaction and say, okay, um, evaluation set 1, 2, 3, and then I can use this as my benchmark against which I can test for a few more rounds. Because this is not deterministic programming and this is probabilistic programming with the use of large language models, you may want to test your agent, and we can help you learn all of that on how to do that. And that is done through monitoring and evaluation. So if you see here, you can manage your evaluations, and there is an evaluation that I've created. So this is the evaluation I just created. This is another evaluation that's out there, and we can see the runs that we did. So we built a benchmark or a baseline, and then we've run many times. Each time that I run the agent, again, this works like an automated test script. It will tell me the median correctness of the answers, the latency, how many seconds, and how many tokens it consumed. So when you build agents, you may want to you can call us and check with us whether this is an efficient agent or not, because the more you use tokens, eventually the more your cost of agents will be. So you want to build agents in such a manner that they are high on the correctness score, low on the latency, and low on the token usage, and there are no errors in API calls. So I'll stop here, and Gary, let me know if I missed anything, or do you want to take over now?
No, I thought that was really good. Thank you very much, Jay. I will take back over
Mhm.
and share my screen. Okay. All right. Can everybody see my screen okay, Jay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so thanks for that demo, Jay. I appreciate it. There's a lot to the AI Agent Studio. Um, when should I build an agent? Like when is the best use case to do that? Like when does it make sense and when shouldn't I do it? Um, for me, building an agent is when standard functionality doesn't meet those goals, when it involves too many clicks or too many navigations from screen to screen. The agent needs to have a very clear objective, and obviously you need to have the business benefit behind running that agent. And it lends itself to a chat-driven or autonomous initiation and execution. So, those are times when you think about it like this. You have an org chart, I want this person to do a certain thing. How do they take that action? When do I not want to build an agent? I don't want to build an agent when, frankly, Oracle currently supports that business goal and it's reasonably, intuitive, and they basically just do it better than an agent could. Um, Sometimes, and until we get multimodal contexting, when a lot of data is needed to do the thing that you're trying to execute. So you may want to, consider not creating an agent when you have a lot of data to enter. And then secondarily, AI agents really depend on the data that's in your ERP. So you want to make sure that you don't require a lot of data massaging and that data doesn't need to be updated before it's written back to the ERP system. Okay. Data security. How Oracle secures your data when it's using the AI Agent Studio. So basically, it is encrypting the studio using, especially when you're sending, data to external LLMs via TLS. It is following GDPR, HIPAA, privacy compliance, opportunities. And the model really has zero data retention. So that's important because when I'm typing something into my, agent, I have my chat session going on and I'm doing work and it's taking action. It isn't keeping a big long log of that activity. Now, you can separate that from the actual transaction. I logged in as Gary, I took an action, updated a record. Of course, it's going to, have that user session captured and that is auditable. But the LLM itself isn't really retaining any of the data or the inputs that you put into the chat. So that's really important to remember when we're talking about, our external, our agent, our studio. So what else is happening? What else is coming in the agentic AI roadmap? Um, you know, we were fortunate enough to have 25D a little early, so we're taking a look at all of these things. Workflow and sequential agents. So basically, they're giving us the ability to call agents a little more like a traditional workflow. Um, Oracle put a good one out there. It's a quote to requisition workflow where you can basically have a supplier quote emailed to a particular spot, email address. The agent will go out, grab that document, vectorize it, take a look at the pertinent information, and use the LLM to make decisions on, what's the supplier name, what's the item, what's the quantity, and help you build a requisition using an agent so that you're not rekeying it in. It's just going out and reading it. So it sounds like RPA, but it's not because the LLM is actually making decisions. You're not training it. You're not having to re-update all the rules around that. So that's one, example of sequential agents that are coming or workflow agents that are coming. Additional integrations and connectors, including search connectors, so like Google, whatnot, they're actually adding more connections for us to add there. Bring your own LLM. Jay kind of showed you that. Multilingual support. They're going to have more languages available, in our agents. And then the Metro usage and the Metro, the monitoring, evaluation, agent tracking, that is all very important so that you understand what you're doing, what you're creating, understand the complexity of the agent, and to ensure accuracy and consistency, in your your agent. So as we start building more and more of these agents, we're going to be using these tools to let us know that I have a high probability of success every time I ask it to take an action for me. 26A. Okay, so 26A, we're going to have more logical nodes for workflow agents, more automation. There will be more assistant agents. It's going to be multimodal. So in other words, instead of just entering questions into the LLM, um, I will also be able to load documents and images into the agent's prompt. So, and it'll start reading that. Then we have we have MCP and agent to agent access. And you can think of MCP, as the kind of USB that you can plug Oracle into so that it can connect to other systems without a lot of fanfare. And so MCP is a commonly, used term in the industry, and that, once we get there, we'll be making some serious progress as far as connecting to other systems, uploading files into chat, and then, integrating with Microsoft Teams. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. Okay, so, what about not in the AI Agent Studio or not in Fusion directly? Like, what are those other things that we can do, and how can Apps Associates, help you with the things that, those AI agent capabilities that are slightly outside of the Oracle ecosystem as well. So, you know, how can you engage Apps Associates for AI outside of Fusion? We have Apps Answers, which leverages Oracle's, select AI capability, um, against data in our analytics accelerators. We have FDI and OAC, agents that we're using and can use. We have Oracle's new AI data platform, so we can leverage all kinds of data in OCI. So we've mentioned OCI a couple of times here, but so Oracle data or non-Oracle unstructured, structured, a lot of things you can do there, RAG agents, OCI generative AI services, and non-Oracle cloud AI, ML services with AWS, Azure, and open source, of course. So next steps and questions. What are the next steps you can take, plus any other questions you may have? You can take the next step. One way to do this is we have a 3-day workshop where we're, thinking, start small, think big, move fast. You know, it's a 3-day workshop where we can help you understand the benefits and risks of each AI agent capability in Oracle Fusion, create tailored use cases that are focused to your topics, what's important to you, finance, supply chain, help get you educated on that, and then even create a high-level strategy, on the roadmap and a tailored plan for your adoption and governance. So definitely, if this is something of interest to you, reach out to your, Apps Associates representative, and they'll be talking with you, I'm sure, on a regular basis as well. Other options, for engaging Apps Associates in this realm, this AI realm, is, we have strategic advisory. So if you want to assess your complete IT footprint and create a strategy for your company, we can help come in and take care of that. Building custom agents. I know what Jay showed you was in depth, and it does kind of have creates that little gray area where it's sort of functional, sort of techno, but could a normal user do it? You might need help, and we can help you build those custom agents. As you know, we're an early adopter of that. Help you build out of the box, kind of RAG agents and documents, chat bots that respond to your employees' requests for information, whether it be HR, procurement policies, supplier sourcing. And then we can also help, lean in and use Oracle's out of the box AI agent templates. So if you want to take one of their out of the box, templates and implement them, we can guide you through that implementation. So yeah, a lot of different ways you can, connect with us, and we can help you out in this AI world. We're really excited about it, investing a lot of time and effort and implementation in this. So it's been a good run so far, and we're really looking forward to continuing to work on it. And so, with that, I mean, I say thank you. I think we have 7 minutes left. So I'm going to stop here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is here, and we'll share this presentation with the team. You can reach out to me, reach out to your sales rep, or anybody else that was on this call today, and we'll be more than happy to help guide you in any way possible. With that, I'm going to stop sharing, and I think I saw a couple of questions a minute ago. So
Yes, we do have a question. How does OIC fit into this?
yeah, so OIC can have a role. In fact, you can use OIC to help you do certain things with an Oracle AI agent, as you can call it, with an external REST API. So is it the primary player? Not necessarily, but you can use OIC to get access to things that you typically wouldn't have. So prior to Oracle coming up with more connections with our external partners, we used OIC to help us get connection to a third-party application that required just a little more heavy lifting than a standard REST API would give us to an external REST API. So it's definitely there. It's not the thing that you necessarily work on, but it can really help you take your agents to the next level for sure.
Awesome. I have another question. How long does it take to implement an agent?
So that's a tough question. It really depends on the kind of agent that you'd like to implement. If you're talking about, we talked about, answers, author, and action. So I would say kind of going up that scale. If you're looking for answers, a RAG agent can be pretty straightforward, which is a retrieval augmented generation. So you can basically load up a PDF of your processes and your policies, and that agent is pretty straightforward. Minimal guardrails, not a lot to think about there. It's really just looking at that document. Beyond that, it depends on what do you want to do. You noticed in Jay's example, he had several different tools that he was calling. So it just depends on the complexity of the agent and the amount of testing that we'll need to do to make sure that it is, meeting our needs and testing the human in the loop, aspect of it. So not a very straightforward answer there, but the more simple, the less time it takes for sure. I think we can
Perfect.
get it going, a few of them going relatively quickly though.
Perfect. I do see another question. Are AI agents compatible with legacy systems and/or third-party applications?
So when we say legacy systems, I mean, really, the AI Agent Studio is built within Fusion applications, and you would only be able to access the agent within the applications. Okay. Third-party systems, it's a matter of uh, using external REST APIs to get information from those systems. So I think the answer is yes, you can definitely work with your agents and third-party systems. How much can you do there? It really would depend on your, unique business case. But yeah, I mean, the opportunity is there, but as far as accessing the agents and using the agents and calling the agents, you really need to be inside your ERP. That's the intent. I think that will be it for now. We really appreciate your time and participation today. Once again, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. And if anything comes up, we're always here for you. Ron, thank you so much for joining us from Oracle. We really appreciate your support and looking forward to continuing this partnership.